may have heard of a little company called Framework, who are famous for building laptops that you can actually upgrade yourself. So I'm out here in Taiwan for Computex right now. It is June 1st, and before I actually head to the show, I just saw that Framework have released a brand new series of laptops. Now look, I've gotten so many comments asking me to check out Framework. Famously, Linus has invested in the company, and it's a mission that is easy to get behind. But the question is, should you actually buy a laptop that is repairable? Because as far as I'm concerned, there are some downsides. So let's take a look. All right. So let me go through this. So first of all, you have two options. You can do pre-built or you can build it yourself. I definitely want to do it myself, right? So pre-built starts at $949, DIY starts at $799. Oh, so you can save yourself $150 by building it yourself? I mean, that's a no-brainer, right? So I just need to decide here, do I want to go with the Core Ultra series or Ryzen? I actually think I might want to go with Ryzen here. So right now, just with the Ryzen 5, and the updated display, battery, webcam, I'm at $950. Now the good thing is if you wanted to, you could actually go ahead and source your own components here. So you do not have to actually buy them from Framework, but just for the sake of completeness, I'm gonna go ahead and try to get everything I can here. All right, now here's the customization. Now this is one of the things I actually really want to try here. Now, I like the idea of a 13-inch laptop. That's very cool. But you can also do some customization, which I want to see what I could do with. Okay, I want an orange bezel. I would do yellow, but I can't. And now here's one of the big things about Framework, the expansion cards. So by default, this laptop has no ports whatsoever. Instead, it has a bunch of expansion bays where you can outfit up to, for this laptop, 4 different cards in it. So what I can do is I can completely mix and match the ports that I have on my laptop, which is a really, really cool idea. So I can do USB-A, HDMI, Ethernet, that's nice, this full-size display port, micro SD, as well as regular SD. I guess first impression here is that this is kind of expensive, right? So I'm spending almost $1,200 on a Ryzen 5 equipped laptop. And while the screen and the battery and all this kind of stuff seems nice, and there's certainly some upgradability there, I still have to build it myself. On top of that, there's no copy of Windows included in this price. That will push it over $1,300, which is a little bit hard to swallow. So I guess what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my deposit down, order my Framework laptop, and I will see you in 3 months once it shows up, and we'll build ourselves the infamous Framework laptop to see, is it actually worth it?
Why, hello there. This video is sponsored by Ridge. Do you want to win this obnoxiously gold real Cybertruck? Well, have I got the news for you.
If you win the contest, you actually get 3 choices. Not only can you choose to win this exact Tesla Cybertruck wrapped in real gold, but you could also opt for a Hennessy Velociraptor or $100,000 in cash. That's a lot of money. Enough to buy a lot of Ridge products. Probably all of them, I would expect. I've actually been using a Ridge wallet for several years, way before they ever sponsored the channel. I love it because it's an easy way to keep all of your cards together, you've got a cash strap, but this kind of takes it to the next level. Do I look cooler with $100,000 in my hand instead of a gold-plated Cybertruck? Probably, but the choice is yours, my friend.
Now let's do some hardcore off-roading. Hell yeah, brother.
All you gotta do is check out the link in the description. Not only are there free ways to enter, every dollar you spend on Ridge.com between now and September 13th is 1 entry, but for every purchase of a Hennessy or cyber-themed product from the Ridge store, you will get yourself an additional 4 entries per dollar. But don't wait, this giveaway ends on September 13th, and trust me, you don't want to be stuck driving this thing around. Drive that one instead. Look at the size of that! The only thing better engineered than this is a Ridge wallet. Why, hello there, my friends. It is August 21st, and I have received my Framework order. Now, to their credit, it was the exact amount of time. They told me it will be here in August, and it is, in fact, August. I'm really going into this about as blind as I can, because I'll be honest with you, I have some expectations and some concerns, but I don't want to let the truth of the product cloud my judgment. Okay, yeah, there we go. We got all kind of fun stuff. I will say this is giving me like, hey, this is gonna be a fun project kind of vibe, and not, oh good Lord, what have I signed myself up for? Like, this seems cool. All right, time to rip the seal and begin the build, my friends. You know, I'm actually kind of excited because, like I said, I'm trying not to spoil myself on this, but I'm also really curious about the concept of a repairable modular laptop. But my main concern is really in the idea that how long will this be supported? Because Framework is not a company who's been around for an enormous amount of time. And also, what are the compromises that you have to make when you build modularity and repairability into a laptop? Because certainly, there's going to be some compromises. All right, so it does feel like aluminum. You got your little Framework logo. Thankfully, we do have a headphone jack as well as 2 slots on one side and 2 slots on the other. Oh, wow. Okay, all right. So first of all, the fact that I can just remove this little piece of plastic and we've got access to everything, which, you know, they say DIY, but this is like pretty done. We've got ourselves the battery already installed. We've got the main board. We've got ourselves the cooler. All we really need to do, I assume, is install our RAM, SSD, and pop on like the keyboard and whatnot, and the bezel. And this is actually a largely complete laptop. I don't think there's that much work to do. This is clean though. You can tell this is designed by a company who they care. All right, let's start out by installing our RAM, which should just slot in here. This is very much like installing SODIMM from pretty much any system of all time. Next up, let's install the SSD. So this is a 1 terabyte WD Black, and importantly, this is a PCI Gen 4 SSD, so it should be quite fast. I like the fact that this one screwdriver will take care of absolutely everything. That's really quite nice. So we've got ourselves our RAM installed, SSD. Next, it looks like it's time to install the, they call it the input cover. Alrighty. So this, my friends, is our input cover. And oh boy, you know what? I'm gonna reserve judgment for a second. That keyboard looks a little generic.
It's not reserving judgment, you're just judging it.
Yeah, a little bit. And keyboard.
That's just a MacBook keyboard.
It looks, yeah, let me try it. It is a pretty normal looking trackpad. I think it's glass though. I think it's glass. But it is just a normal diving board, which I will say, after using the Surface Laptop 7, the haptic trackpad in that has ruined every other trackpad for me. All right, so we've got ourselves the back, which actually does look quite nice here. So again, if you wanted to, you could replace all of these little screws and swap out the keyboard. You do see the touchpad here. And again, there's more like QR codes and whatnot if you wanted to adjust stuff. But to me, it looks like everything's on this one ribbon cable, right? Yeah, that ribbon cable, I will say, they definitely have repairability in mind. Normally when you do this kind of stuff, these cables are just as short as possible. This has a little extra length on it, so we can easily just kind of pull it out here, give it a little push, give it another push, and another push, and that should be there. So theoretically, this is now going to magnetically attach. So let's just see. Ooh, wait a minute. There is a slight gap, and that's actually intentional. So according to the tutorial, this corner is normally where you're able to actually open up the whole panel. So basically you just kind of peel it up. So essentially once you actually screw it into place, theoretically that gap will disappear. And when you undo the screw, that gap appears, so you could just pop the whole thing off. Okay, you know what? I was about to say I don't know about the build quality, but now I'm very impressed that they actually have such tight tolerances. Cool, okay, all right. I mean, this is dead simple so far. Now the bezel should be very straightforward, and now this is where we can get a little bit of the customization. So far I don't think I've been able to change a lot other than like the size of my like SSD and my my RAM, but this is where some of my artistic flourishes can flourish, because I got an orange bezel. Why? Because they let me do it. So apparently there's some adhesive which looks like it's on the bottom, and I guess I just slap it on. You know, if I can say something so far about this process, feels like there's a lot of care and attention that goes into this. A lot of nice little decisions to make your life easier, whether it's magnets, whether it's sort of slightly different positioning on like the bottom corner or whatever, like very pleasant. All right, so I've removed the 4 little adhesive strips on the bottom. I see magnets all the way around this, so I'm assuming it's gonna just kind of go on. Okay, let's do this. So I'm going to make sure that these cables, which are already pre-applied, are clear of that hinge. So I think that should be fine. And then I'm just gonna line it up like this. Oh, I hear the magnets already. Oh, look at that. Oh my goodness. Wow, that's satisfying. Oh my goodness, that was satisfying. I'm trying to decide, I think that's on fine. Yeah. So I've got myself a camera module switch, which if I push it, apparently will turn off the camera, and I have a mic module switch as well. So I can mute and or turn off my webcam, theoretically using the actual like electrical connection and not just. Oh, wait, no, hang on a second. It's in there, but yeah, it is actually not entirely flush. But this should be flush. In fact, it's actually on both sides, it's not totally flush. Okay, let me double check. Maybe the cable's slightly in the way. Although this might be fine, but I'll just try it really quick. So I've rerouted the cables a little bit. Oh, you know what? That does look better. Maybe it was just that one cable. It was slightly outside of its cable channel. I think that actually did it, because now, oh yeah, that was 100% it. Okay, it was just something as simple as there was one cable slightly in the way. No problems at all. I opened this up, and now you can see we got a little bit of style, a little bit of panache, perhaps. All right, so now the next step is just to screw it together, and thankfully they're using captive screws, so all I should do is connect all 5 of these screws, tighten them all the way down, which I assume also will keep our corners down, because that was the main thing we were waiting for. Okay, so with all my fasteners in place, oh, you know what? That looks kind of cool from the side. You got just that little bit of orange showing. It all looks like it's in pretty good shape. Again, I'll open and close it, make sure. Hinge is fine. And what do you know? The corners have tightened up, so there's no longer any kind of gaps that I'm seeing. So now comes the fun part of customizing my ports. So my understanding is that for my USB-A port, I just need to put it in one of these 2 bottom slots, which have a little bit more power. Now they are keyed, so I believe that they should only go in one way. Line it up, and oh, and that's the little button to release it. Oh, that's clever. Okay, so I've got myself a USB-A port on this side. I'm now gonna put another USB-C on this side. Okay, and then on this side, I'm gonna put one SD card slot, and then one more USB-C. So, with that, my friends, I have successfully built my Framework laptop. Now, here comes the real test. I'm going to plug it into one of my USB-C ports, and theoretically, it will come to life. Now, they do say that the first boot is going to take a while. I don't know if it's initializing, I don't know what the deal is, but I can be patient.
You patient?
It's doing memory training. It's doing BIOS deconfiguration. It's doing Ryzen Zenning. Oh, there we go. Default boot device missing. That's totally fine. Okay, so we're in a BIOS. Oh, that's a very fancy BIOS. It's an inside BIOS. All right, so with that, let me install my operating system, make sure everything's up to date like the BIOS, and we'll see, is a modular laptop like a Framework actually worth it? Because while this process was incredibly simple, I think there's gonna be a couple of trade-offs we're gonna have to make. Namely, it was a lot of money, like a lot of money. All right, so I have a lot of thoughts here. The Framework story it's kind of complicated, but let's start out with the positives first. The repairability of the Framework 13 is really, truly an outstanding feature. It's just refreshing to see a laptop where virtually every component can be easily repaired, swapped, or upgraded with future parts. I think it's just how easy things are that's the most impressive. Ports can be changed in seconds, and getting to components like your RAM, SSD, and battery is dead simple. Now, Framework has included some personality into the design. My orange bezel and ports do add a nice pop of color, giving an otherwise very boring looking laptop a little bit of style. Now, the screen is another highlight, with the $130 upgrade from the base display, which is a 2.3K 60Hz panel, to this, which is the 2.8K 120Hz option. In my opinion, well worth the investment. The higher refresh rate and resolution feel every bit the price tag you're paying. However, it's not all smooth sailing with the Framework 13. It's a small thing, but a bizarre design choice is the mismatch between the rounded corners of the screen and the square corners of the bezel. While Framework does point this out when you're ordering, it still kind of stands out to me in the way that, if you're using a phone with asymmetrical bezels, it just looks a little off as soon as you notice it. It's totally fine, and then you find yourself watching a video on your phone and you realize the bezels are a little chunkier on the bottom, and then you can never unsee it. Sorry, but not really. When we're talking price, things get, how should I put it, problematic. So I opted for the base Ryzen 5 7640U configuration to start with, and I upgraded it with 16 gigabytes of dual channel RAM and a 1 terabyte SSD. Now, there's nothing wrong with these specs, although it is worth noting that this processor was released in April of 2023, over a year ago at this point.
The Intel side of the fence isn't much better, with Core Ultra chips just starting to ship, while other companies have been offering laptops with these processors since like the beginning of this year. The thing is, this bothers me because the lag in adopting the latest hardware. It's even more noticeable when you consider that both Intel and AMD are currently releasing even newer generations of processors than what you can buy in the framework. AMD has already launched the very impressive Ryzen AI chips. Intel is just about to drop Lunar Lake, and if you've been following my coverage of the Snapdragon X Elite, you'll know that I've been incredibly impressed there, and there are no Snapdragon options on Framework yet. But from an end user perspective, on a product that is designed for power users who are signing up to build their own laptops, it's hard not to feel like you're kind of getting outdated tech out of the gate. Strange. And now, I will say that as a small company, it's clear that Framework doesn't exactly have the negotiating power of a Dell or a Lenovo when it comes to component costs. These higher costs inevitably get passed to you as the consumer, resulting in a product that is significantly more expensive than the competition. The base model that I bought came in at $1,190 before tax, which totaled $1,307 all in, which is a lot of money for a Ryzen 5 powered system. If you want to step up to a Ryzen 7, you're looking at an additional $280, which I can't even begin to justify. The Intel options are actually even worse, with a $330 premium just to go from a Core Ultra 5 to an Ultra 7. It's also worth noting that $1,190 that I paid doesn't tell the whole story. I opted out of buying the $49 power supply or the $139 Windows license. So realistically, if you want a more of a fair comparison with a pre-built laptop, you're looking at $1,378 before tax and shipping for a complete usable system. To put this in perspective, a quick search on Best Buy will turn up options like this Yoga 7 with a newer Ryzen 5, albeit with a little bit less RAM and storage, for just $450. Now, to be fair, it's definitely not an apples to apples comparison, as Framework aren't positioning themselves as a value brand, but when you're charging premium prices, you shouldn't be getting value hardware? It's frustrating because, like, the thing is, when it comes to the overall build quality and the user experience, the Framework 13 is fine. The materials used are decent, but there's a certain hollowness to the feel. The keyboard has noticeable flex even during normal typing. The trackpad and speakers are just okay, and while the webcam is pretty good, I expect a whole lot more than when you're buying this kind of laptop at this kind of price point. Like, it just, yeah. Performance-wise, the Framework 13 is, again, surprise, surprise, just okay. The basic cooling solution isn't anything special, which means that the laptop can get pretty loud even when tackling relatively normal tasks, like installing Windows updates. Now, it's not that the performance is bad per se, but at this price point, you should just expect more. Now, I don't want this video to come across as entirely negative. Framework has engineered a really cool design with unparalleled levels of upgradability, and that deserves genuine praise. They also offer robust Linux support alongside Windows. I mean, the concept behind the framework is admirable, and in a lot of ways, it represents what tech enthusiasts have been asking for: a truly repairable, upgradable laptop, even better than the good old days. However, as always, it comes down to price. Framework's pitch seems to be that you're investing in the ecosystem, and you'll save money and avoid e-waste by only upgrading the parts you need down the line, selling your old stuff, and while that all sounds great, but the initial cost is so high that you could probably just buy an entirely new laptop every few years and still come out ahead financially. If I had an older Framework laptop that I wanted to upgrade, it would cost me $419 to buy the basic Ryzen 5 mainboard for my system that I'm using here. AKA what, like $30 less than buying the entire Yoga from Best Buy? I really wanted to love the Framework 13. If anyone from Framework is watching, the way I see it, there are three main issues that need to be addressed to really make this a slam dunk. Right now, this is a laptop that is too expensive, it feels kinda cheap, and it's running specs that are borderline out of date. I mean, just imagine if Framework made laptops the way that people make cool custom keyboards. I mean, there are so many things you could do with a custom keyboard that if you go through all the trouble of engineering and compromising for a modular laptop, let me do a whole lot more than just swap the color of my ports or bezel. Like, there's potential here. This could be so much more than it is right now. But as it stands, it's a laptop that's hard to recommend for pretty much anyone besides the most hardcore enthusiasts. Elliot from Mr. Robot would like it. That's about all I can think of.